and it's going to be XiaoWo on the top left, and Shi on the top left, and Jiesha on the bottom right. It's going to be Patron on the side of Jiesha. Oh, we're switching cameras. Maybe. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, Patron coming from Jiesha, and we don't have the cards yet from Shi. Can't really see what those are. Okay, so this looks like going to be Patron from Shi as well. So another Patron mirror. Again, whoever gets the Patron combo onto the board first wins. Typically, you play the Armor Smith right now just so you don't have to armor up, so you can get Battle Rages, as we see 2 of them in Jiesha's hand, and really bad hand, obviously, for Jiesha. Pretty horrible. Although, to be fair, on the side of Shi, the Warsong Commander is pretty useless as well. And you kind of only want to have 2 weapons anyway, one weapon anyway. On the side of Shi, he does have that Harrison, so both of them have ways to kind of draw cards. It looks like Jiesha's gonna go ahead and hit this Armor Smith to prevent any sort of battle rages going on. And he can get actually 2 guys off the battle rage, or excuse me, 2 cards off the battle rage. If his minions just get hurt this way. Lishi's not going to coin into his Despite, wants to be able to have the opportunity to play the Harrison Jones on this upcoming turn, potentially. And yeah, not really much for Jiesha to do right here. Doesn't even have a weapon to get Harrison. So, he could Battle Rage for 1 card, I suppose. If he does that, I imagine he would run his yeah, he's gonna run. Okay, it looks like he went for the shield block. Sorry about that. We're gonna go to normal call to see if this might remedy the situation. So yeah, he goes for the shield block. He also hits the Armor Smith, and this is to prevent his opponent from being able to Battle Rage. If he didn't hit the Armor Smith, and he couldn't just pass either, because his opponent could just swing his axe into the Armor Smith and take the 1 damage, and then be able to Battle Rage off of that. So, pretty good foresight, pretty good play on the side of Jiesha being able to do that. And in response, we're going to see Shi just kind of kill off this Armor Smith without using his War Axe and keep that in hand. But, I mean, this is mostly because they have nothing to do. To be fair, being able to have that second charge of Fire War Axe for a potential Patron propagation is pretty useful. He can just immediately kill off the first part of the patrons, and then have the first half of this by to kill off one of the other patrons in future turns, and not have the death rattle go off, which you don't want to have happen. Pretty risky play on the side of Jiesha right here. If his opponent for instance, if he top deck patron right there, he could have made 4 patrons without even using his own whirlwind effect. Because he could have played the patron and got an enraged it and then blown up his opponent's unstable ghoul. So really risky play on the side of Jiesha. I'm not sure he thought that one through. I think it would have been perfectly fine. And sometimes you want to save this ghoul too in order to get some reverse OTK onto your opponent, especially with that Warsong Commander in hand. So good play up to that point by Jiesha, kind of playing around certain things, but I don't believe he played around this quite well enough. And it's not like his hand was getting too big where he had to play that anyway. He can't slam for cards. Might just be an armor pass here. You're not going to throw away your Battle Rage. There's no reason to throw away cards because you're going to overdraw. And you're not going to play a Warsong onto the field, and you're not going to execute that either. Like, execute doesn't get much value in this matchup, but it still gets some value. Even Thorson here. Thorson might be an okay play, but at the same time, what are you even discounting, really? It would be kind of a tempo play. Thorson might have been okay, but yeah, playing anything else would have been a bit of a mistake. So on the side of Shi, he now has a Battle Rage that he can use for 1, but yeah, really it just comes down to Despite, but he might be afraid of his opponent's Harrison. I really highly doubt he just plays a Temple Harrison. So yeah, it looks like he's going to just develop his Despite and kind of his opponent in the face, and maybe This might be a bait for Harrison, honestly. It might be like, okay, Harrison this because I have nothing to do anyway. That might be what he's thinking about. Is like, if my opponent does have Harrison, I'd rather him Harrison this when I can't really do anything anyway, than Harrison in the future when I have a play to make. So that might be what he's thinking. But yeah, he pretty much has nothing else to do, so it could have just been, I don't even know. Like, it could have been, like, quote, I don't know what to do right now, so I'm just gonna play this out. Yeah, this is kind of interesting, though. This is what I was talking about earlier, in that both players don't have very good hands, until the game's gonna go into late game, so it's gonna be really interesting to see how they handle, this situation. And Jiesha decides to go out and go ahead and play out his Thaurissan. Interestingly enough, if he played his Thaurissan out last turn, he could have played Patron this turn, but he wouldn't be able to propagate it anyway. He gets a decent amount of combo options. Like for instance, if he gets a Frothing later, what he can do is if he gets Frothing, Inner Rage, and Whirlwind later, he can go War Song, Patron, Frothing, Inner Rage, Whirlwind, which is a decent amount of damage. And that would be kind of nice. Looks like Laishi favors his execute less than his Despite, which is probably correct. That Despite is really, really important for propagating your patrons. But anyway, as I was talking about earlier, obviously you can just win this game by propagating patrons on turn, 4. Turn 4, sorry. Turn 5, turn 6, something like that, and make it impossible for your opponent to come back. But we're getting into the situation where players really have to be making, tough decisions, because if you propagate too much on the board, your opponent can just OTK you, even from as high a life total as we see Laishi at right now. So it really becomes difficult, and I kind of like this on the side of Jiesha right here, kind of smacking his opponent in the face just to get down the armor a bit. This is probably how you're going to be using the fireworks anyway. I mean, you could use it to kill off a patron, but most likely you want your opponent's patrons to stick on the board because you want to be able to reverse OTK them with the hand that you have currently. So I like kind of getting some like a card out of your hand because you're going to be drawing in the future regardless. Could see a Battle Rage for 1 right here. We might actually see a Battle Rage for 1 and then armor up and then re-equip a War Axe so you don't overdraw. But yeah, this is getting really awkward. And the funny thing is that a lot of times you see people in this situation, it's kind of like a Mexican standoff, right? If whoever, shoots first basically just dies because they're going to get reverse OTK'd. But there's actually just nothing to do here from either player. He's considering going Patron and just Cruel Task it, which makes a bit of sense. Although it is possible for his opponent to maybe well, not without the Thaurissan, I guess. So kind of hard for him to do that. Looks like he's gonna go. Yeah, this is fine. He's gonna draw more cards. I kind of agree with this play. It makes it annoying on his opponent. He kind of has to deal with this. He hasn't seen a single. He hasn't seen Thaurissan come out yet. So unlikely his opponent's going to be able to reverse OTK him, especially at 37 life. So I like this play from Jiesha. Get these guys out. Needs to draw into that into both the Frothing and a Whirlwind, and on top of that, an Inner Rage as well. And on top of that, he can actually just play out his War Song next turn because he has 2. You only really need 1 in this situation. So if his opponent can't deal with this, maybe he can kind of take advantage of that. Yeah, and execute second execute coming out from Laishi. Again, really has nothing to do. But yeah, I was gonna say, as I was mentioning earlier, typically when this game goes on to later turns, it's kind of like a Mexican standoff, right? Because both players don't want to shoot first. Because both players have really good hands and know they're just going to die. But in this case, it's actually kind of crazy because this game has somehow gotten to the late game and neither player has anything to do anyway. So it has less to do with wanting to, or not wanting to go first, and more to do with them having nothing to do at all, really. Laishi is just going to go out and play out a couple guys onto the field and get a decent Battle Rage off. He uses one of his War Songs, but he does have another one in hand, so nice to be able to use that now and just kind of draw more cards, clear his opponent's board. And Jiesha does pick up that Frothing. He doesn't have too much damage, though. He's going to need another Whirlwind, and he needs a 1-mana Whirlwind. He can't use that Unstable Ghoul, unfortunately. for Jiesha, he's 100% going to be killing this war song, likely with his fireworks. I don't think you need to execute that quite yet. So he has 9 cards in hand, so there's no reason, just no need to worry about overdrawing or anything like that. Probably going to see the the Gnomish Inventor, likely into Armorsmith as well, just to get some presence onto the board. Yes, your opponent can play maybe Warsong Patron or something, but it would be his last Warsong, and you're pretty high health. You can typically survive a couple turns and then kind of get your own OTK off. But yeah, okay. He was thinking about it. He's thinking about whether to play the Armorsmith or not. The nice thing about playing something with 2 attack, even though technically propagates patrons, is that you actually they're all at 1 health anyway, so they don't actually do anything extra, and you can just kill the 3/3 with your War X. Looks like Xichen is reaching for that patron. Is this really risky on his part? I mean, I wonder if he's just kind of called his opponent's bluff and doesn't believe this opponent has any sort of OTK combos. Well, okay, let's see. Actually, Xichen has Jiesha has a ton of damage. I was thinking about the patron with the frothing, but he does actually have Warsong, frothing, unstable goal, which is a ton of damage. And I wonder if Xichen is thinking about this, or he just kind of disregarding it. If he uses his Armorsmith, so he's basically completely disregarding it. And this could be lethal from 30, maybe. Actually, it's only 1 whirlwind, so probably not enough. It would be, ooh, that's a thing. I still don't think it's enough though, unfortunately. So it would be, he would hit one of the unstable goals into one of them, which would make them both 4, and then it would blow up onto 1, 2, 3 plus 7, so 10. So it would be 48 damage, I believe. No, not 48. It'd be 28 damage. Yeah, not 48, 28. So yeah, it looks like he's gonna go with this. The other thing I was about to get into is that he might be able to clear his opponent's board. Because what he can do is throw the unstable goal into the 3/3, which makes another patron first, and then no, I think that's incorrect actually. I think you throw it into the 3/3. Because you throw it into the 3/3 and it makes your opponent's board too big and they all die at once. So I don't think he did this correctly, to be honest. He's running out of time as well. What's he going to execute? This seems a little bit strange. I killed that. I don't know if he got the extra attack off. He's going to get the execute off on this 3. Oh, is he going to? Okay, he's going to execute the 5-1. Or the 3-1. Wasn't that a 3-1 or was it 3-2? Anyway, his opponent can clear his stuff on the board. Now Xichen reaching for that Harrison Jones, which he could have done earlier. I guess now he's not really afraid of getting OTK, so it doesn't really matter. All this armor that Xichen has actually piled up has been really, really helpful, because Jiesha could have had lethal otherwise if he kind of whittled him down a bit. He still does have the Warsong frothing, so if he gets maybe, double whirlwind, I believe he still does have double whirlwind in his deck. So he still has ways to kind of kill his opponent, but it's looking less and less likely. I think he would need both Inner-Rage and double whirlwind and get some damage off in the first place as well. In any case, Xichen going to be able to clear off this his opponent's side of the board, and he's in pretty good position. I believe they both have 1 Warsong left. Do they? Wait, does Xichen have no Warsongs left? I'm getting confused. This is why we need more than 1 caster. Alright, so in any case, there's the first whirlwind on the side of Jiesha. I imagine he's not going to use it yet. But I think I'd like to see him just armor up and run that 3-1 to the face of his opponent. It makes it so that his opponent can't really use his Deathbite without killing off the Harrison. Unless he uses the Deathbite right now and kills off the patron, and then kind of just, you know, waste his Death Bite a little bit. Yeah, this game has gotten really kind of crazy. I'm having a hard time keeping track of both sides. Look, he's gonna go for it now. Kind of weird. So I suppose he's gonna run the 3-1 in and then whirl one and then hit the face twice. He has seen 2 executes. This is true. He has seen 2 executes. So unless his, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he's seen 2. He's seen 2 war songs from his opponent as well. So it might be almost impossible for his opponent to deal with this. So this might be the correct play, honestly, to just try to get as much damage onto your opponent as possible right now, and before he can actually make something happen. It looks like the response is going to be just playing out a patron and a ghoul. Gonna proc the Death Bite. Not gonna play the frothing though. Gonna get a battle rage, but he doesn't have any more armor smiths if I remember correctly. And now he's gonna play the second ghoul, which is very, very fortunate that he drew. And that's gonna be the end of Jiesha's board. It doesn't really matter what he does here because 2-1's gonna kill off his frothing. So very, very weird game. This is one of those games where I wish I had a co-caster so we could keep track of which cards have been used. Yeah, I can't really see Jiesha coming back from this pretty commanding board on the side of Laishi. And he can not attack or he can attack, doesn't really matter, because if he doesn't make the attacks, then Laishi will make them for him, and he will have a huge board with which to start smacking Jiesha in the face, and Jiesha doesn't have any OTK possibilities. So that's going to be 1000% P game. I can't even comprehend. I can't even not comprehend. I can't think of a way that Jiesha could ever come back from this. Yeah, it's gonna be over. So yep, Jiesha is going ahead and concede that game. Really strange patron game. Not a patron mirror that you see very often where it goes in that situation. But yeah, Laishi going to take it, our open qualifier, taking that first game. Gotta feel good when you go into one of these tournaments and you've qualified through 500 people to get that first win, especially off a pro qualifier who has been here before. So yeah, that's going to graduate. The word I've kind of made up, not made up, the word I've kind of used to assign to decks that win. I don't like calling them eliminated because they won, they did well, right? So they graduated. So Laishi's going to graduate his Patron Warrior. Jiesha's still stuck with his, but we're going to go into Hunter versus Dragon Priest. I mean, it's pretty much Priest these days, right? You're not going to really play Control Priest these days. So it looks like it's going to be the mid-range Hunter. So I think this is favored for the Priest. Slightly more favored for the Priest than sorry, it's a slightly better situation for the mid-range Hunter in this matchup than it is for Face Hunter versus Priest. Priest just kind of shuts down that really, really hard because of all the taunts that they have. Jiesha gonna go ahead and play out. Those webcams are so weird. Oh wait, okay, I think the people on the green screen are actually the commentators, so don't be confused. Those guys aren't Jiesha or Laishi. But in any case, Jiesha gonna go ahead and play out that Twilight Whelp. Gonna go ahead and put the blessing, not the blessing, the powered shield on it to make it bigger. Unfortunately, that makes it vulnerable to silence, but he kind of wanted a 3-drop really badly here, whether that be the Dark Cultist or if he plays the Blackwing Technician, he wanted that. Nothing to do here. Probably going to just see him trade and yeah, end turn, which really sucks. But he does have a really good next turn, which is nice. Whatever animal companion comes out, it's going to be kind of dominated by this Twilight Guardian. Misha's probably the best. Hopefully you get some damage in, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, so yeah, 100% going to be this Twilight Guardian coming out. And Laishi can actually coin Ram Wrangler here, which would be pretty strong. What's he going to do? He's gonna, okay, actually that's much better. Gets the Houndmaster off. Very, very good top deck there. Gonna go ahead and clear out that Twilight Guardian pretty easily, and now Jiesha's in a pretty rough spot. I mean, whether he plays out this Twilight Guardian and kind of gets killed pretty seamlessly, or not seamlessly, pretty easily, painlessly I should say. And the Drake dies to the 4/3 as well. Actually has Mind Control in this deck. Not too surprising. Sometimes you don't get a chance to fit in Mind Control, but I suppose it is a crazy tempo swing. I mean, if you think Variant Rune is good, you get to just steal your opponent's minion. It's pretty good as well, right? But yeah, Mind Control always good. I'm not too surprised that's in the deck. In any case, looks like it's going to be a high main. High main's always good no matter what. Probably 4/3 into the 4/4 and 6 to the face. Yep, that's going to be the trade. And pretty straightforward right now so far, at least on the side of Lishi. These Chinese commentators are really distracting me. I wish they would fix that. Anyway, but probably going to see a death onto that high main. I can't imagine what else he could do. Like, he can play the Twilight Guardian and the Wormrest Agent. But that doesn't really do much. Yeah, I just want to kill this guy off and just play the Wormrest Agent just to get something else stand in the way. If the 6/3 runs into it, he can Holy Nova. If the 2/2/2s run into it, then he's killing those 2/2/2s anyway. Anyway, we can see Ram Wrangler. What are we going to get off of this? It's going to be a Crocolisk. So, what is that? That's going to be 5/6 value for 5. Not too bad. It's like a pit fighter. Over 2 bodies, not the greatest, but yeah, probably going to just throw these 2/2s in. He has a pretty good lead. Doesn't want to get blown up by a Holy Nova, so, and he's going to get a 6 damage in the face, which is always nice. The side of Jiesha, he could go for a greedy play and just take one of the two, take the 2/3. Actually, okay, yeah, this is fine. He does have that dragon in hand, so this will do a lot of damage, and on the board it clears it, so yeah, probably just going to see the 6/3 run into it. Don't really want to take any chances here, but I mean, I'm kind of confused why he immediately hero power. It doesn't really make any sense. Like, he could have played the Mad Scientist and Armored Warhorse. This doesn't make sense to me at all, honestly. Like, you don't not attack here, because then your opponent can attack his own Chilma into your guy, and then now he gets initiative, which is really, really bad. So this is really, really bad play. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't understand it at all. You're giving the priest first play, and he's at 16. He's not low enough for, you know, like, I don't know. I just don't understand it. But yeah, you just trade this guy in, and then you get to have first play, which is nice. Probably just going to be this Drake, and then yeah, you don't really need to play the Twilight Guardian right now. Yeah, Powered Shield. If you don't pick anything, you just heal yourself. Maybe play the Cleric, actually. You don't really need to heal. Just get something that's threatening onto the board. Make your opponent have to deal with it. It does enable Nitric Unleash, but it's not that bad. You also see the Deathlord into the hand, which is kind of interesting. A little more defensive play. We saw that from Clento earlier. But yeah, what is this? This is going to be... Okay, Hunter's Mark, Knife Juggler, into Mad Scientist, into Miss, Hit Face, into Armored Warhorse? He could just bow it. I mean, if he misses this knife, it's really disastrous. He's also hovering over that Unleash the Hounds. This is where you see kind of the inexperience with the newer players. Like, there are a lot of situations which they can handle, but when it comes to very specific situations like this, like, they don't see very often, it's where they crumble, right? Like the last turn where he didn't run anything into the Chilma. Wins the Joust. Okay, well, this knife is pretty huge anyway. Doesn't hit the knife. It really sucks. It's gonna run to the 5/3 into the 4/1. Gonna favor the 5 damage. And that's gonna enable this Holy Nova, which is gonna suck. I would imagine he just throws the 4/1 to the face first, and then Holy Novas, and then Twilight Guardians. He does pick up that Dragon to enable the Twilight Guardian, which is really, really nice. He'd also Deathlord and Twilight Whelp. Or Deathlord and Northshire. But I can't imagine there not being a Holy Nova this turn. It's just too good. I mean, you take out a 5/3. Just taking the 5/3 by itself with the Holy Nova is really, really nice. In before swipe on the Twilight Guardian. I don't understand. I guess he wants to freeze away the whelp. I guess freezing away the whelp is fine, and it still provides value into your hand for that Twilight Guardian. That Guardian being yellow is actually a mistake. Sometimes the highlights on Hearthstone are wrong. You actually can't activate that Twilight Guardian right now. Laishi immediately hitting that guy with his face, and now he's thinking about his turn. I don't understand. Just maybe think about your turn before you do it. That was kind of bizarre. Okay. Well, if you're Jiesha and you see that, what are you thinking right now? It looks like it's just gonna take a chance and kind of hit face. Unfortunately, it is explosive, which kind of hurts. Now he has to decide whether he wants to heal his face or heal a taunt. He can heal the taunt and then get a card off of it with the Northshire Cleric. He can also just start smorking the face with the Black and Corruptor as well, which he actually can do after he heals this, so he can kind of evaluate from here. Actually, that's a really good card. Now he can get out that Twilight Guardian. So, yeah, good play. Gets 2 taunts in the field. Let's see. I think that Laishi maybe had lethal if that Twilight Guardian wasn't there. I think? No. Yeah, with the double unleash... Well, he can't play everything, right? He can't unleash. But he had the bow as well. Hey, let's just see what he picks up. Wait, what is he? Oh, okay, he's gonna unleash again. Okay. So double unleash. Let's see what he picks up off of this Deathlord. It could be something crazy. You never know. Dr. Boom is pretty good. Doesn't get the battle cry obviously, but I think he's pretty happy with that one. And kill command means he gets 5 damage to face, and unless there's a... I think I like the kill command, honestly, because you get the same amount of damage to face anyway. You don't kill off your hounds, and maybe your opponent doesn't have any way to deal with it. So I honestly don't know what he's thinking about. I mean, maybe he wants to weave in the hero power, but ends up being the same damage anyway, at least on this turn. So yeah, I'm gonna go all face, and yeah, I mean, Jiesha might be dead on the board. He can't mind control, can he? No, he's dead. So he needs to heal to draw a card and hope he gets something that stops his opponent, which I doubt is possible. Yeah, I don't see any way Jiesha can get out of this. Black and Corruptor doesn't do anything. Yeah, so he sees that he has to heal for a card, which is really bad because he's not healing his face. Valen's doesn't help him stay alive. Ooh, Light Bomb does though. Kind of. Not really. Oh, so close though. Wow, okay. That was a really sad light bulb. It almost helped him, but then it didn't. So yeah, Laishi going to go ahead and take that game. I'm not really super impressed by his play, however. There's a couple spots there where he made really unoptimal plays. Unoptimal? Not very optimal. Suboptimal. And I kind of gave his opponent a way to get back into the game where he had control early on. And that was kind of a snowball game, right? It started with that the Animal Companion into the top deck Houndmaster, which really sucked for Jiesha. Anyway, gonna get this Twilight Whelp on the field. This is a pretty good matchup for Priest as well, because you can get that early board control against the Druid and kind of keep it. A lot of times with Druid, if they can stabilize, it's really nice. If they're playing against a more aggressive deck. Because once you kill your opponent's stuff, all their stuff is like too little to deal with your stuff, which is bigger. But for the Priest, they can Valence Chosen, they give them second life essentially. They can heal their stuff, which, you know, Druid, it's really annoying for Druid to deal with because they can't deal with stuff over 2 turns. Yeah, this is actually a misplay. He's drawing second after he plays the North Star out of the field. Actually, okay, if he wants the guys, I guess he just wants his guy to be safe. He's not gonna play a 2-drop anyway. Kind of makes sense. He just wants to keep the North Star healthy. This could be silenced right now, but no, he's gonna go for the Shredder. And this is one of those situations where normal priests might, okay, well, Valence Chosen changes everything, but normal priests, I was going to say, might just kind of hit and heal, but with the Twilight Guardian there, oh, that's weird. Why are we going back in time? With the Twilight Guardian there, he was going to probably play that, but this Valence Chosen kind of changes things. What can he do with this Valence Chosen? He can actually kill any one of his guys if he buffs them, but he can't heal afterward, which is an issue. His North Star Cleric goes to 3-9, which would stay to 3-5 after he hits this guy, which is reasonable. But he can also put on something else and make sure that his his buffs are spread around. But it looks like he's gonna go for that. Toothy's pretty annoying to deal with. He might just go face here. Yeah, I would probably just go face it. Well, I guess this isn't too weak to swipe, but still kind of annoying. Probably gonna see a keeper onto the 3-5 though. I mean, it takes off 2 damage, it takes off 2 health. It's really, really nice, and you also prevent your guy from getting cards off of it. So, yeah, this is kind of annoying. We might see a Holy Nova. Yeah, we could see a Holy Nova here. Even though you don't get the cards, just to keep your guys healthy. It's kind of nice. You can Holy Nova and either run your 2-3 or your 2-4 into it, just to kind of keep your board presence there. Yeah, it's probably going to be the 2-4, even though that's your taunt. It just makes it more awkward for the Druid, because if you hit with a 2-3 and your opponent swipes the 2-4, then you're left with a 1-2, which is not really anything at all. So going to be this. Probably just going to see Twilight Guardian unbuffed into heal on the 2-2 and go face. It's really sad when Lothab comes on the field and you can't even death it. Feels good for the Druid though, I will say that. So yeah, that's probably going to be the play. I can't imagine he doesn't play this Twilight Guardian. I think that's a big mistake, honestly. I don't know why you wouldn't play the Twilight Guardian there. I mean, it's either play 2-6 now or 3-6 later, and I think just 2-6 now is so much better. It's so much harder to deal with. It's not like you have to deal with Cabal Shadow Priest or anything. And now you're way, way behind the board. You can death that. I guess you could just light bomb this, honestly. It would be a little bit premature, but it wouldn't be ridiculous, especially because you can't deal with the 5-3 anyway. So you might as well just do this. On the side of Laishi, he does have that combo for really cheap now. Obviously, he's not going to use it now unless he really feels desperate. He does have that swipe as well. But he's hovering over the swipe. I don't know if that's... you're pretty sure you don't need to do that. You're not going to die anytime soon. Just play the Sylvanas. Yeah, just play the Sylvanas. Either Hero Power or Wrath is 2-1. Either way. I mean, 5 mana Sylvanas was OP. That's why they nerfed it. I think you should play it. Yeah, might be the Hero Power, might be the Wrath. I think Hero Power is a little more safe because having the removal in your hand is kind of nice. If your opponent ever kind of plays something big and you need that removal, need that 3 damage, it can be helpful later. You have Sylvanas on the field and you have minions in hand, so like you have plays to make at least for the next turn. And you have a minion under the field, so you might need removal, especially with at the life total he's at. So yeah, Jiesha gonna go ahead and sacrifice this guy. Gonna death it. Gonna play out his Twilight Guard in the field. He has board control once again. Are we gonna see a swipe wrath? Swipe wrath for 1 or 3 is the question. I see it for a 1 this time. Just because he kind of needs to cycle a card. Getting that Innervate was really, really poor for him. Yeah, now that he's thinking about it, it's probably going to be the 1 and just Innervate the Hero Power. It kind of sucks to cycle and then get rid of your innervate, but I mean, it has to be done, right? You need to cycle the next thing. And actually, it seems strange because you drew that wild growth, but what seems strange is my next comment, is that it seems strange that drawing was correct because you got the wild growth. Because normally, like when you get something good, you know, it's confirmation bias, right? Like you got something good, so therefore the draw was good. But actually, the confirmation bias here is that wild growth is so bad in this situation. What is he doing? What? You're not gonna get a card. You're not 9. You're not 10. Oh man. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my goodness. That just happened. Anyway, I was gonna say wild growth is so bad because he doesn't have 10 mana next turn that it's actually good that he cycled through it and didn't have to deal with it. But oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that happened. Actually, I don't know the interaction between Darnassus and Wild Growth. If you play Darnassus and get 10 mana and you play the Wild Growth, because you don't have to have full 10 out of 10 mana crystals to be able to use Wild Growth for a card. You only have to have 10 mana total. And once you play the Darnassus, you go to 10. I mean, I know if you play Wild Growth on 9, you can Wild Growth on 9 and then Wild Growth again for the mana or for the card. But I don't know. Anyway, so he's gonna play out these 2 cards on the board. He saw how hard it was for his opponent to deal with the Deathlord before, or no, sorry, the Chilmaw, which had 8 health. So it might be just as difficult to deal with this. Goes ahead and plays the Twilight Guardian to field as well, and Ancient War seems really good, but it's going to get death, unfortunately. The last card in Jiesha's hand is going to be that death. He's going to be pretty happy that he has in his hand. Yeah, people are complaining about the quality. We can try high again. Before it was lagging, but looks like it's better now. Might be okay. Yeah, so if he plays the Valence, he has 6 damage onto the face, which I imagine he'll do. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play it onto this Deathlord. Probably hit base with both. Oh no, just kidding. You can clear that out. Okay, this makes sense. He has lethal on board next game. Lethal on board next turn. Sorry. And Laishi can silence that, which prevents lethal, but he's still in a lot of trouble, and he's not close to like lethaling his opponent anytime soon. Gonna play that BGH out there as well. Just hit the face. Even with combo, there's no way for Laishi to win the game. So Jiesha can just, I mean, yeah, it looks like he's just gonna clear off anyway, because I mean that's what Twitch are supposed to do, right? That's the purpose of them. They're supposed to kill off smaller minions that they can kill off. So yeah, I don't. I mean, this isn't okay. He's gonna go ahead and draw cards, and then they're just gonna skip forward, and then he's gonna concede the game. Not sure if the skipping forward had anything to do with us going to high quality, but hopefully not. Anyway, so Jiesha's Priest is able to pick up the game there. It graduates, as I like to say. And we have 2 decks remaining for Jiesha, and that Druid remaining for Laishi. Luperk, some links for the decks of this series. They can't post the decks because that would be, you would be able to see the decks before, and I don't have the information, all the information from the decks of these players because I'm piggybacking the stream of Tiddler on Douyu. In any case, we see Jiesha come back with the Patient Warrior to go against Druid. And this is a pretty much 50-50 matchup. Sorry for the skipping again. I think this might be a little more skipping, but I think there's some skipping on normal quality as well. So probably better to go with this so that we can actually see the numbers. So I'm gonna stick with this for now. Sometimes it goes smoothly, and sometimes the connection with Chinese servers is kind of bad. So yeah, it's gonna see the hero power from the druid. I like to just hero power and not attack, so they don't get battle rage value, because from now on, the patron warrior can just simply sound like life coach. The patron warrior can just simply has the ability to be able to battle rage from now on. They can armor up as much as they want. They don't have to purposely get themselves lower later. This is a spot where I also just play out the frothing, the temple frothing, because basically the win condition for patron in this matchup is getting the patrons out. Whereas in other matchups, you need to have the frothing berserkers to OTK your opponent. But yeah, in this matchup, you kind of want it for tempo. You force your opponent to kind of deal with it, whether it be swipe or wrath or whatever. And that gives you time to set up your patrons. And you just want time to set up your patrons. Sometimes it's the exact opposite, right? Like sometimes if you're playing against Handlock, for instance, you can just kind of play out your patrons to force them to Hellfire, which gives you time to draw more cards and set up your OTK turn. But in this matchup, it's the opposite. You want them to spend mana, spend time dealing with your frothing, and in response, you get to maybe play out your patrons. So Xichen has a decent response to this. Going to go ahead and innervate out that Druid Claw and charge it into it to kill it. But on the backside, we have from Xichen the Fire Aurochs, and might even see this Cruel Taskmaster come out as well, just to put some more pressure onto your opponent. A lot of times, this is what Control Warrior uses to kind of bridge itself to the late game against Druid. Just kind of get some guys in the field that Druid has to deal with before they start putting their mid-range minions on the table. And probably going to be pretty useful here for Patron Warrior as well. And we see a Kodo coming in the hand of the Druid. These Chinese deck constructions, man. I don't even know. I would imagine he just goes for that. I mean, yeah, you can kill like an Acolyte later, but this is just huge tempo play right here, and you immediately gain control of the board. Okay, looks like we skipped forward ahead again. An Enrage draw would have been amazing there, because he could have gone Patron, Enrage, Coin Whirlwind. But I imagine we're just going to see the Gnomish Inventor. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to play anything else. You can play the Ghoul. You can play on earlier turns to make it annoying for your opponent, but this isn't the time to make it annoying for your opponent. You're just gonna go ahead and yeah, it just makes sense to have it for future turns to kind of stick ahead of a patron. Looks like he's gonna play out anyway. Okay, I guess this makes a little bit of sense because it forces your opponents to deal with it. And if he silences it, he's using 4 mana to silence it. If he runs his Kodo into it, then his Kodo dies. If you Wrath it, again, he's using 2 mana on something that's not a patron. So, and if he doesn't deal with it, then Jiesha gets 4 patrons next turn. So, it makes a bit of sense in this situation, I suppose. But yeah, definitely getting that Gnomish Inventor onto the field was priority number 1. The one thing though is if Xichen runs into this, if he kills this off right now and plays something like a Paladin Shredder, or actually anything, doesn't really matter. Jiesha's gonna want to use his Despite, and it's gonna get immediately Harrison, which is gonna be a problem. So even though Jiesha looks to be in a good position as far as being able to make his patrons propagate, it's gonna get shut down by that Harrison Jones. He can Battle Rage here though. Battle Rage into Despite feels really, really good. Still get to draw the cards. I can't see any world in which he Patron Whirlwinds. That wouldn't make much sense at all. It's too easy to deal with, honestly. So yeah, pretty easy turn in my opinion. Gonna go ahead and Battle Rage and use that Despite. Sorry for the lag a bit here. Okay, we skipped ahead, but we already predicted the play, so it's okay. We already predicted it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's why you keep the Harrison. And yeah, gonna go ahead and get rid of that Despite. Would have been nice to have an Acolyte up for, or sorry, have an Acolyte up while that Despite is up so that the Harrison can proc the Acolytes, but what can you do? In this situation, he's going to... I would like to see another Battle Rage. I mean, 2 cards for 2 men is pretty good. Gonna throw away the Whirlwind, really? I guess he can Whirlwind and Battle Rage for 3 and then still kill the Harrison. But you're not gonna die to combo anytime soon anyway. And these Whirlwinds are just too valuable in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather have the Whirlwind. I think I'd rather have the Whirlwind than an extra card. I guess he got 2 extra cards this way, but you could have had 2 Acolytes in the field as well. Or, no, just 1, I suppose. I guess this is fine. And he didn't draw a second Whirlwind anyway, which is what you needed to be able to propagate Patrons twice. But it's actually looking kind of okay for the Druid, just because Patron can't really do anything right now. From the Druid's perspective, he doesn't think he's ahead because he just saw his opponent draw a bunch of cards. But he's actually kind of fine. Because his opponent really can't do anything. Although if he picks up a War Song right now... You know what? This is actually a really bad play. It's much, much better to silence it because 1-2s don't actually do anything. He's already seen 2 Battle Rages anyway. It's almost always more correct to silence it. Because if you think about it, what would you rather your opponent have? A 1-2 on the board or a card? Or you could think about it from the other way, right? What would you rather have? A card or 1-2 on the board? I'd rather have a card. So... it's a little bit of an experience dealing with patrons. You definitely want to silence the 1-2 Acolyte rather than killing it off in that situation. Jiesha really has nothing to do right now, unfortunately. Really wants those War Songs. He did pick up the Thorson, which is nice. So he can play that next turn and maybe be able to get something going with his patrons, or even if he draws like a War Song or something. But with that boom, that Dr. Boom hitting the board, he's like lethal is being threatened. I try to mix lethal and threatened for some reason in my head. Yeah, lethal is definitely being threatened obviously with combo. Maybe just with Savage, or how much damage would that be? 7, 8, 9. 13, 14, 15. 15 plus 12 would be 27. So yeah, pretty much almost lethal just with Savage Roar, honestly. And definitely lethal with that Darnassus on the field. Gonna go ahead and kill this Armor Smith so it doesn't get any more value. And probably hit the face with this Keeper of the Grove. Again, sorry for the lag. And yeah, he cannot play... Well, he could play... Yeah, actually he could play the Thorson after Whirlwind Execute. He's gonna Patron Whirlwind Execute. I guess this puts some pressure on his opponent to clear his board. It makes a bit of sense. He also has the mana to be able to armor up afterward. Where do these boombots go? Actually picks up the War Song. Interesting. So pick up the War Song. What can he do with this? It's going to go ahead and Inner Rage. I like that he's going quickly, though. He made up his mind he's just going to do it because these patrons take a long time to go through and spawn and stuff. So makes a bit of sense. Okay, so what can he do with this? How much... Like, he's going to kill that. What can he do here now? What pops out? It's going to be a 2-1. Going to hit that. And he's not dead to combo because combo is 23. He's at 25. Yeah, so he's not going to die. But he has to deal with... I think his opponent can clear the board because Mind Control Tech steals either the War Song or it steals a charging patron. So yeah, gonna go ahead and go out with the Mind Control Tech. Looks like it's gonna get, like I said, either a charging patron or a War Song. Probably wants to see the charging patron because the War Song doesn't really combo with anything in his hand at all. So yeah, what's he get? Gets the charging patron. Probably one of the worst ones, but it might not make any difference in the end. I would like to see him just, well, I guess combo clear is not the best idea because his opponent probably has another patron, another way to propagate it. So sometimes the Druid can just win this game through attrition by getting rid of all the frothings and all the patrons and eventually just winning. But it looks like he's just going to get aggressive in this case. And I guess I do agree. Because you're not really going... If you clear this right now, your opponent could just play another patron, which is less likely... Or, sorry, it's more likely that he has another patron can propagate than he has a way to kill you right now. Slash clear your board. So, Jiesha, what is Jiesha looking at? I'm just going to go ahead and slam onto this mind control tech. Interesting. Does he have lethal now? How much damage does he have on the board? He has 14. He needs 6 more. Can he get 6 more? Maybe? Wait. I am a bit confused. How is he going to do this? That Pale doesn't really help. He could just execute the Dr. Boom. I'm pretty sure it's not lethal. But what is he actually doing? I'm not really sure. Oh wait, maybe he has lethal now. I'm not sure. Hold on. Now it's getting confusing. Okay, so 5, 10, 16. Yeah, he has lethal. He needs to go though. He needs to start smacking the face really quickly. So he does have lethal if he spotted it, right? Yeah, he spotted it. Okay. So that was a really interesting turn. A lot of weird card drawing and stuff like that. But in the end, he finally had lethal because of that inner rage pickup. Yeah, well played by Jiesha. That was really bizarre, especially with the cuts for. And again, sorry about that, guys. Nothing really I can do at the moment. But yeah, what a crazy game. Jiesha picks it up. Really, really cool play on that final turn there. I mean, people say Patron has no skill, right? You just kind of draw your cards and OTK your opponent. But that was pretty cool. That had a lot of skill. That really a lot of quick thinking they had to go through. And a lot of different like variations, right? Like worst case scenario, he can you know, execute the Dr. Boom, or he can throw in one of his patrons to kill it, or maybe his frothing to kill it, and still keep his patrons on the board. So that was really, really cool. Able to make his mind up really, really quickly and do the lethal math at the end there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So a bit unfortunate for Jiesha that he got the Knife Juggler second after, or he got the Knife Juggler first and then picked up the Void Collar. On the side of Laishi, he has a really slow hand, but he does have the Coin Innervates Thorson, which makes his hand much, much better. He also has that mind control tech. But on the side of Jiesha, I think I would like to see him go for the Void Collar and the Flame Imp. I think you win this matchup by kind of out-tempoing the Druid. And kind of getting too much stuff on the board before they can respond. If you give them too much time, they're able to respond. But yeah, we see the Thorson come on the field, and you have to kill this as the patron, the zoo player. Not the best mind control tech, but there's nothing really else to do. He's actually going to take control of this board because he has that for 2 mana and is able to clear one of these guys off. So it's going to be a 1-1, or 2 1-1s versus a 3-3 and a 1-1. Pretty good tempo swing, even though it's not... I mean, you'd rather get something bigger with the mind control tech, but you're not going to complain here, especially with the poor quality of hand he had at the start. Few options here for Jiesha. Can play that Void Collar. The Void Collar will either draw a Void Walker or a Void Terror if his opponent kills it. He had the choice of either that or the Defender of Argus. Not sure he's thinking too much about placement. I think I'd like to see him play this turn a little bit slower. Maybe he already knows he's going to Defender of Argus, that Imp in the middle there. But I don't know how strong a 2/2 is. I think I'd rather have something bigger like that. I guess the 1/2 is going to immediately die anyway, so maybe it doesn't really matter. But yeah, not a whole lot to do on the Druid side. You don't want to be playing that BGH because that's a tempo swing you really need later on. In order, if you kill like their Mal'Ganis or their Dr. Boom, or maybe something like a buffed up Void Terror, and you kind of need that later. So it's one of those situations where before you would see players just play out the BGH, but in this case you really need that tempo swing later, so you have to hold on to it. Not gonna play the swipe. Gonna go ahead and hero power on turn 5, which feels bad, man. Absolutely. And yeah, we can actually wait. Okay, so he's gonna go with this play. Under the Void Terror, or sorry, Void Collar, and then Defender of Argus onto this. He could have actually used his Void Terror to kill off his Void Collar to get a Void Walker, and then also have a 6/7 on the field, which can't get BGH. You can get Silence, but that costs your opponent 4 men to do so. Now we see that the Dr. Boom onto the field, and I mean, no real way to respond to it, so probably just gonna see a Dr. Boom of his own. Probably see a 4-2 into the face, and then 2-3 and 2-4 onto the boom bots. Yeah, boom bots going back and forth. Ooh, that's a strong boom, or that's a strong boom bot, I should say. And 4 to the face, which is probably what you want to see. Nah, maybe not. I don't know. It's a little bit scary, but you do have board control here, and you'd rather keep board control than I mean, getting damage to your face is bad, but having your board die is worse. So we're gonna see Dr. Boom run to this guy. It's gonna spawn either a 3-4 or a 3-3, which is not the worst for Jiesha, honestly. Yeah, Xichen has that Sylvanas in hand, but I can't really see a world in which he plays Sylvanas here without using the B. Really, he's gonna play out the Sylvanas. That's really greedy, in my opinion. You're basically just taking 7. You're basically telling your opponent to hit you in the face for 7 in that situation. It's kind of a consideration if you suspect your opponent is bad and you feel like one of the ways you can get back into this game is that your opponent just makes a mistake. But yeah, yeah, looks like he's gonna go with the swipe and the BGH. Gets rid of kind of 1.5 minions there with the swipe, so pretty good. And yeah, looks like we're just gonna see Void Collar come out from Jiesha. You guys saw from the skip that the Void Terror came out from the previous Void Collar, so I assume I don't have to comment on that. But this is an interesting situation. So what he can do now is actually power overwhelming his Void Collar, owl the Sylvanas, hit the Sylvanas, Void Terror the Void Collar, get out a, what would that be, 7, okay, so 8 minus 5 would be 3, so 3 for 3 is 6, so it would be a 10-6, a 10-6 guy, and he's already seen Big Game Hunter. Oh, and he just picked up the Doomguard, so we can actually, okay, it's a 50-50 to get either the Imp-King boss or the Imp-King boss or the Doomguard. But either way, he might be able to play the Doomguard next turn anyway. But yeah, it looks like he's gonna eat the owl too as well. Yeah, he's gonna eat the owl too, which is fine, I suppose. The owl can just die kind of incidentally to swipe or something like that. Either way is fine, I suppose. And he's gonna get the Doomguard as well. Oh my god, what a huge turn! A 12-7, a charging 5-7, a 2-2 on the field, and Xichen cannot be happy about this. And Kodo can kill a 2-2, but it's not gonna kill a 12-7 or a 5-7, unfortunately. He's dead on board, so unless he picks up like Twisting Nether with that ancient lore, it's not gonna do too much. I don't see any way to get out of this. If Lothab stopped cards from attacking, or minions from attacking, then maybe. But wow, what a huge turn from Jiesha there. Even if he picked the Imp-King boss, he would have been in a fantastic position. But yeah, getting the Doomguard would just kind of lock this game out, I believe. If he's reaching for the code, like, there's no reason to reach for the Kodo. He actually has to draw cards here. I don't know what he can draw, but every single other option means he's dead. I guess he could heal. That is something, but he has to use the lore is the thing. You can't use any other card in your hand because you're going to die guaranteed. So how much damage is that? That would be 17, 18, 19. So he's 2 damage off lethal. He still probably should kill off this lore just in case some craziness happened with combo. Morganis is 1 card too late. Would have been lethal there, but probably not going to matter. Just play out this this Nerubian egg and the inking boss, throw the Doomguard into the lore, rest of face, and there's almost no way. Even if your opponent top decks BGH, it doesn't really matter because you have Mal'Ganis in hand right now, and your opponent's, you know, he's at 7. So it's pretty much no way. Not going to happen, no matter what. Laixi's gonna fight to the end. It looks like. Gonna play out this forced nature. My computer's gonna lag. Gonna play out the. Oh wait, could this do something maybe? I mean, he killed off the void, or sorry, the doom. I keep trying to think it's a void. Everything's a void. That's why, right? Wait, does he have? Is he surviving? Oh my god! Actually, he survived somehow. I don't even. How did this happen? Wow. Okay, I was calling it, but apparently he's still alive. Probably running this tree into the 12/7. You have to kill it sometime. I mean, yeah, you can maybe go face and try to kill him, but you don't have any bursts in your hand right now, so probably better just try to find a way to kill this 12/7. So Mal'Ganis gonna hit the board. It's gonna turn that into a 4. Oh, wait, is that lethal? 3, 4. No, that. Okay, probably just play Mal'Ganis anyway. Then turn the 12/5 into a 14/7. 4/6 is gonna go to face. Your opponent can't really deal with this. They can't combo you anyway. So yeah, she has stayed up lethal for the last 2 turns, to my surprise. But this has to be it right now because he can't draw cards. He can't heal his face. Again, sorry for the lag, but we kind of know the. At least we can see the ancient lore in slow motion, right? Okay, well, slow motion Sudoku incoming, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, so Laishi is finally going to kill himself, and Jiesha is going to pull off yet again another reverse sweep, I believe. I think it was reverse sweep, right? Yeah, he lost the first 2, I think. Yeah, so we got another 5-game series, or sorry, another game series that went all the way to 5 games, I should say. And another reverse sweep from the side of Jiesha there. He moves on. Kind of happy with that result, honestly, because. Yeah, so we're gonna have Yiquan in the top left and Xichen in the bottom right, in the glasses there. And looks like we're going to have Hunter, mid-range Hunter from Xichen. They do like their kings alike, I gotta say. And going to have Warlock on the top. Don't know what kind of Warlock it is quite yet. We'll find out in a second. Bear Trap coming out from Xichen. Very surprised he didn't keep the kings alike. I don't really understand the reasoning behind not keeping it. Like, the whole point of it is you keep it earlier so that you can get, or you can keep it so that you can get more card draw, and then you can also just play a 3/2 out. Pretty surprised, honestly. Maybe he wanted a hard mulligan for the web spinner. In any case, he does mulligan in a way. He does get that mad scientist back into his hand. And on the side of Yiquan pulls out that haunted creeper, which means he's probably playing Zoo. And we have Knife Juggler Unleashed, which is really, really good for Xichen. He can even have a couple of dead turns as long as he gets Knife Juggler Unleashed on a good board. But gonna see him play out this Bear Trap right away. Interesting. Just wants to get out the 3/3 onto the board there, which I guess makes a bit of sense. Let's see if Yiquan falls for it. If it's freezing, it's just not something that you're too mad to get frozen back. But if it's explosive, you don't really care either. So he's kind of wondering. He might think that maybe his opponent has a horrible hand and nothing else to do. So yeah, it's just gonna go and attack, and it's gonna be that bear. On the side of Yiquan, yeah, he's going to play out that Nerubian egg. Nothing else to do, really. The only positive thing for him is that Xichen doesn't have anything to attack into. But he does have the ability to attack in the face. So there is that. I imagine Xichen's going to play out this Mad Scientist and go face. No real reason to play the Knife Juggler. If his opponent's capable of killing his knife, I guess the Knife Juggler can trade into more things, but doesn't trade well with the Aim King boss anyway. If his opponent has that, that's the most natural turn 3 play. So, yeah, his opponent I don't. I mean, if his opponent can trade into the Knife Juggler, it can trade into the Mad Science anyway. Or if it can trade into the Mad Science, it can trade into the Knife Juggler anyway. Is what I should say. And there's nothing that really that the Knife Juggler trades into that the Mad Scientist doesn't. But it looks like he's going to favor the power. I suppose. Yeah. I suppose if he thinks his opponent can't get past this guy anyway, then getting power to the board is kind of nice to get the extra damage to face. Speaking of in-game boss, that's what Yikun does pick up. I think you would rather have the power whelming, but in any case, this is fine. Ooh, that is a very, very nice card to draw right now. Probably gonna see the Hound Master go on to the bear and just go to face with everything. How much damage would that be? 8 damage to face is really no joke. Bring him down to 19 already against a class that, you know, his hero power is doing damage to himself. And even if his board gets completely wiped, he has the Knife Dragon Unleashed to back it up, so I can't imagine this not being the play. Gonna actually clear. It's a bit surprising to me. I guess I kind of trying to protect his Knife Juggler, I suppose. Well, that's a really bad roll onto the imps there. I think we might see, honestly. Well, he doesn't have enough room to Knife Juggler Unleash. He could just Unleash, I suppose. Yeah, he's gonna do it anyway. Looks like, oh, he kills one of the guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Gonna double Knife Juggler Unleash. So we're gonna see 8 knives come out here, which is absolutely insane. You typically don't see this, but I guess I guess you're lucky if you're Xichen here. 8 knives. And they clear off the entire board, including the 4/4. And there's no AoE coming out of Zoo. Maybe he teched in Hellfire, but it's certainly not in his hand right now. So I can't imagine this game not going the way of Xichen right now. This is basically impossible. Even if this implosion rolls for 4 onto... I don't even know what he pointed at, honestly. Yeah, he's just going to concede. This is no point. There's no point in showing what's in your deck. Like, maybe... I mean, some zoos run 1 implosion only or something like that. So, yeah, I kind of agree with that concede there. There's like a 0.01% chance he's winning that game. And even that 0.01%, I have no idea how that would even come about. I suppose it's probably possible, but yeah, it's so ridiculously unlikely that it's more likely that he hides a card in his deck and that allows him to win a future game than he wins that game. So I like to concede there, no reason to play it out. And then we're going to see him bring back his zoo, and we're going to see what Xichen has in store for us. And going to be a zoo as well, I believe. Yeah, going to be a zoo. Just making sure. Something might be some crazy. I mean, it still could be some crazy deck, but looks pretty standard from here, like a standard demon zoo deck. I wonder what he keeps here. He might actually go ahead and keep this Flame Imp and the Void Caller. Nope, gonna get rid of the Void Caller. And I'm gonna get one back, so I guess it makes sense. Doesn't want 2 Void Callers in the hand. Other 2 Void Callers can be okay, especially on the coin. Let's see if he goes for the double 1-drop on turn 1. Nope, gonna be... I don't know if this is greedy or safe, because it does enable a lot of damage via the Knife Juggler. Gonna get silenced. Nothing else really for Yikun to do. He really has a horrible, horrible hand. But despite the silence, it's gonna be pretty good situation for Xichen because he basically gets 3 things on the board that are all better than the minion on the side of Yikun. Yeah, gonna play out that in-game boss and not attack. No real reason to. And I imagine we're gonna see in-game boss plus kill the Owl with a 1/3, rest going to face. This is a lot of damage to come back from. It's one of those situations where even if Yikun manages to stabilize, he might be hard pressed to. Oh, he does run Hellfire. Interesting. So, yeah, he might be hard pressed to, you know, basically pull out the game in the end because of this, all the damage to his face, because he needs to trade too much. Like in certain, wow, rolls for 2. That's really horrible. Especially in this matchup, the more imps, the better in this matchup. because there's never going to be AoE, and your opponent's obviously not going to benefit off him like they do in the matchup where they have Unleash the Hound. So from Xichen, what's he going to do? I kind of want to see him go face here. Yeah, clear one of the 1/1s, hit the 3/2 in the face, I believe. No, going to clear one of them off. Interesting. Okay, gonna favor that board control. I guess it's kind of weak to certain situations. But what are we going to see here from Yi Quan? He does have that Hellfire, which is pretty useful. I'm not going to... I mean, hard to see... I mean, it's pretty useful in this matchup in particular. Also against the Hunter, but he didn't draw it last game. Also against Patron Warrior, obviously. But, yeah, there's a lot of options he could go with here. Everything but the Hana Creeper is an option. He can power his 1/1 into the 3/4. He can run his 1/1/3/4 in Hellfire. He can Defender of Argus, and clear some stuff off like this Inking boss and maybe 1/1/1. He can also power and then Void Tear as well. It's kind of like it's kind of a lot going on. All right, so what is this? Oh, it's a spawn. It's going to spawn the Doomguard. Oh no, obviously the best option for Xichen there. But on the other hand, Yi Quan is going to get, what is that going to be, a 9/7? Yep, 9/7. So he does have a bigger board at the moment. So there is that. On the side of Xichen, looks like he's going to reach straight for that Defender of Argus. Yeah, I'm going to just block off this 9/7. Going to say, you know what, I don't really care. I'm just going to go face. Your 9/7 can't deal with all my minions at once. Unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Xichen, I should say, Yi Quan does have that Hellfire, but not much else to really do. So, looks like wait. Oh, he's gonna play Defender of Argus. Interesting. That's a little bit surprising to me. I guess, yeah, that's reasonable, I suppose. Makes his opponent get through this board, but I don't think Xichen has a problem throwing his 5/7 into this 10/5. Oh, well, he could throw the rest of his board. It's kind of close, I suppose, whether he throws the 5/7 or throws the rest of his board. The more I think of it, probably the rest of his board, because the 2/1 and the 1/1 die to the 2/3 anyway. So yeah, probably just going to be the rest of his board into the 10/5, going to be most likely the Nerubian Egg and eaten by the... Oh, he's going to tap. Okay, he just tapped. That's weird. He could YOLO Implosion and two-thirds or 66% chance onto that Fauna Creeper, and then try to get the extra 5 damage to face. Bit surprised by that tap. I would have gone for more the tempo play. The tempo play obviously being, oh, he's going to try to Implosion on the 10/5. Interesting. I guess that makes a bit of sense. Now he gets a guaranteed 2/3 into the face and his 5/7. He has a kind of a big board, but he's trading an awful lot for my taste, honestly. Yeah, and then his opponent's just going to Hellfire. And no, Yi Quan's not in that bad a position, honestly. I guess, well, okay. I guess Xichen figured he could set up this next turn, which is going to be double egg into Void Terror, which is reasonable, I suppose. I mean, it's really, really good, actually, but I just would rather have had the 4/4 and the 3/5 on the board the previous turn, but I guess he's looking forward to this turn. This is really, really good. 3/7/4/4/4/4 for 7 mana is pretty ridiculous, pretty hard to deal with, and that might be game. Yi Quan, what does he pick up? Picks up a Doggy. Doggy can kill one guy, which leaves him alive, technically, but... well, he does have Mal'Ganis next turn, so even if Xichen goes all face here, he's still comeback is possible. I'd probably eat this Haunted Creeper right now. Just get the 4/4 on the board. He is going to kill the Doggy. Interesting. I don't know. I kind of favor getting. I kind of like to favor getting the your opponent to a position where he can never tap again. But maybe he read into the fact that his opponent might have Mal'Ganis, I suppose. Okay, so he does eat the Haunted Creeper. Sorry about the skip forwards and the lag and stuff like that. Nothing really I can do, unfortunately. So we're gonna have Mal'Ganis onto the board, but is it enough? I don't think so. Can't play Mal'Ganis Sea Giant either. Yeah, gonna give up. Doesn't want to let his opponent. His opponent know he has Mal'Ganis, and yeah, it's gonna be lethal on board. So Xichen goes up 2-1 in this series, has his mage remaining against Yiquan. Kind of feel bad for Yiquan. He's had pretty horrible draws thus far. Shichen's played okay, a little too much trading for my taste, but I mean, it hasn't been anything bad per se, just kind of his own style of play, I suppose. And yeah, so he's gonna bring out this mage. Looks like it's gonna be a mech mage with Fel Reavers in it. I like it. I like it. A lot of power in those. Probably gonna mulligan his whole hand though. No reason to keep this really, especially with the type of curve that mech mage can pull off. And you really want to get that early advantage against Zoo, or else they can just out card draw you. Pretty good hand on the side of Xichen, but on the side of Yiquan, pretty good hand too for the first time in this series. Gets that Flame Imp, gets the Nerubian Egg as well as that Power Overwhelming. On the side of Xichen, he has an interesting decision. I imagine he's probably going to go with the Cogmaster and the Clockwork Gnome to contest that, so that both contest this Flame Imp. Mana Worm. He could also Mana Worm coin. Yeah, I guess Mana Worm coin. Clockwork Gnome is decent as well. He can't really play the Clockwork Gnome, or sorry, excuse me, he can't play the Cogmaster without playing the Clockwork Gnome, however, because the Flame Imp gets a free trade on it, essentially. So it looks like he's going to go with that. Makes sense. This Mana Worm can get bigger later, and he can play it basically whenever he wants. And I think what this play is saying is he'd rather have his his Cogmaster get traded into by the Flame Imp than the Mana Worm, which is a little bit more valuable to him. And from the side of Yiquan, you kind of have to just bite the bullet and trade it into this Cog Master. I keep forgetting this name for some reason. He kind of has to do it, otherwise the 2-1 trades into it, which is really just bad, honestly. But I mean, damage to face matters, but you really, I mean, the way you win this matchup is that your hero power is just so much better than theirs. So, oh, he's gonna kill the, oh, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. Okay then. Well, okay, we're gonna see the Snow Chugger come out on the field. 3 damage go to face. Most likely, I guess he could trade into the 0-2. It's something it's a Zoo v Zoo play a lot of time, right? You kill the egg because getting your guy killed off with the either the abusive sergeant or the power roaming is just so devastating because you get your guy killed off and he gets a 4-4, whereas the opposite situation is he gets the 4-4 but your guy doesn't kill off and it takes damage killing your guy. So but it's really hard to make that play, honestly. So Xichen here can kill off this Knife Juggler, but he's going to be forced to ping off this Nerubian Egg the next turn. A lot of trading happening here, honestly, except for the non-kill onto the Nerubian Egg. But yeah, for the first time, excuse me, Yiquan actually has a good start, which is, I guess, good for him. On the side of Xichen, not really much to do. He has the Dr. Women Antonius in hand, which is kind of, obviously, it's pretty clunky. He can Mana Worm and ping. He can't Arcane Arcane Intellect and ping, because obviously that takes too much mana. The reversing switch doesn't really do much either. No, he could reversing switch his Mana Worm. Okay, looks like the Mana Worm and Arcane Intellect. I guess this is kind of like a 1-mana kill the Nerubian Egg kind of play. Although I guess, I mean, it looks like the Void Caller is just going to trade into it anyway. Alright, so Yiquan picks up the Honda Creeper and the Abusive Sergeant, just going to play it all into the face. Bit weak against something like a Blast Mage, but it's hard for your opponent to have exactly, you know, Clockwork Gnome Blast Mage. This turn going to be the Spider Tank and the ping. So Xichen realized that, okay, the Mana Worm's going to die, but it's going to take 3 damage, and I get to play this Spider Tank onto the field and ping next turn. So reasonable play. Yikon with a good pickup here, going to be able to play that Flame Imp and the Sea Giant. You should not play the Sea Giant first. Do it in the right order, please. Although I guess he could just play it anyway. He could play the Sea Giant and then kill off his Void Terror, but I don't know if you want to do that. Like, do you need to kill this guy? I don't know if you need to kill this guy. I guess he needs to kill this guy. I guess he's a little bit afraid of the Blast Mage potential. He does get a lot of damage in the face, so it's kind of fine. From the side of Xichen, probably going to see this Strider and the Frostbolt onto the Sea Giant. He's taking way too much damage to do really anything else. If he doesn't, like say he Frostbolts something else or even just ping something else, he's taking at least 13 damage, and yeah, that's something you can't really deal with. And this next turn, maybe this Goblin Blast Mage starts pinging off guys. It unfortunately means that he probably can't play his Doctor Boom, which obviously is something he really would like to do. Yeah, in any case, it's going to get silenced off, it's going to get killed off, so he's going to take 4 damage this turn, and yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to play his Doctor Boom, but I mean, I feel like his opponent could just ignore it. Actually, how much damage would his opponent take? He has 9 damage on the table, so if Xichen perfectly had double Fireball, then it would be bad, obviously, if Equan did that, but otherwise, he's fine to just go face here. I think you could even tap, unless you were really afraid about crazy boombots. But then your opponent would have to boombot one of your guys in order to hit the face, which is just so unlikely. So, are there any doggy things you can do? You can go 4, 5, 6. You can put the dog next to the Flame Imp, and yeah, hit the Flame Imp in, hit the Nerubian in, and then you hit the Owl in, and then you go face for 9. Yeah, this is pretty decent because you still have a huge board. It's still really hard for your opponent to deal with, and you still get 10 damage to the face, which is pretty good. So I like this play. Oh, he's gonna clear the last guy off and not kill a Dire Wolf Alpha. So yeah, it's a good in-between play. You know, contrary to what Breaking Bad may have told you, half measure is actually pretty good in Hearthstone because you get to simultaneously put pressure onto your opponent while being able to clear the board. Xichen needs to clear this Sea Giant somehow, so probably gonna hit the Sea Giant. Needs to, yeah, he needs to hit the 1 and 4 and get the 1/2. Nope, doesn't get it. So looks like he's gonna die. Reversing Switch doesn't help him here. And Yiquan's going to take the first game, or his first game of the series, and make it 2-1 in favor of Xichen. Finally gets his Zoo to be able to win a game there after horrible draws the first couple of games. But yeah, we saw illustrated there the reason why Zoo does well, because if the early, like, Mech Mage has to win the early game. If it's even, then Zoo wins because it's basically able to smooth out its curve by tapping and tapping into good options, whereas the ping is just not as effective as getting more cards, usually. So, in any case, we're going to have the Warrior on the side of Yiquan, and other than the Druid, well, if this is Control Warrior, then the Mage is favored, but if it's Patron Warrior, then the Patron is favored. So yeah, it looks like it is Patron Warrior. So and he does have that Fire War X in hand, plus, you know, smaller drops and the Brawl, just in case he gets in trouble. Though I can't imagine he's gonna get in trouble with his hand right now. Yeah, in any case, what I was going to say is that Yiquan is favored to win this matchup. But if he does win, then Xichen is favored to win the following matchup. So still in favor of Xichen, but definitely comebacks are possible here. Xichen gonna go ahead and play out both Cogmasters early on to get as much damage in as possible. Likely going to see the Snow Chugga on the following turn. It doesn't really make any sense to play the Mech Warper because you're not speeding anything out in your hand anyway. And the Snow Chugger can allow your Mech Warper to live the following turn. So yeah, gonna almost certainly see the Snow Chugga here. Very, very powerful against Warrior. And on the side of Yikon, probably going to see him just run his face voluntarily into this Snow Chugga. Because you got to get rid of that as fast as possible as a warrior. It's something you cannot deal with. So you're going to kill that, going to throw out the Acolyte. Pretty standard turn on the side of Xichen. Probably going to see this Mech Warper. Nope, probably going to, well, could be the Mech Warper if he wants to go turn 4. Fellraver. Pretty tough turn actually, because he knows that it's not likely for his Mech Warper to die. Considering it would need, it can't be a weapon. It has to be like a slam and, you know, Executor Enrage or something like that. So, kind of a tough turn, but I think it's not. I think you can forego the Spider Tank to be able to get a Fellraver on turn 4. I think it's so likely that's going to happen. Yeah, just kill off this Acolyte, reduce his draws, and you're probably good to go here. Patron picked up on the side of Yikon. That could be helpful later, but not now. Gonna be a Slam and likely a Ghoul, which is pretty annoying for Xichen because he can't play his Fellraver last, but if he plays it first, it gets damaged. So he's gonna play it out and just kind of hope that his opponent doesn't have Execute here, and so he can whack in the face. Something that aggro has to do quite a bit is just kind of hope that your opponent doesn't have the answer to your stuff and kind of play the odds. So Yikon's going to go looking for the answer. We see a couple Frostbolts tossed away, but it's pretty sad for Xichen there. You kind of want those Frostbolts to be able to freeze your opponent in an opportune moment. But that said, not seeing him not draw that Execute is probably going to make him a bit happy here. And going to get him down to 19, which is pretty scary. On the side of Yikon, still nothing to deal with this, which is sad. He could YOLO Brawl, but even if he gets the best option, you're still leaving your opponent with a 5-4 with initiative, which is really horrible. Might see him just play the Thaurissan out, in which case would he be dead 13, 19? Yeah, he actually would be dead if he played the Thaurissan out right now. So this could be over this coming turn. If he hits, okay, well he sees a Fireball there, so that makes Yikon feel a little bit better, but little does he know that Xichen does have the Fireball in hand. Yeah, Fireball's not going to be lethal yet, but he does pick up that Paladin Shredder, which is really annoying for Yikon to deal with. Even if he didn't pick that up, he did have the Spider Tank, which is reasonable as well. And yeah, Yikon's options here are Brawl and hope that the Shredder dies and it makes a Doomsayer, because he can't run his face into it or else he's dead. So that's actually good for him, he doesn't know, but yeah, that's bad. That's going to be it. He cannot clear this board, not even on board, isn't even the Fireball in Xichen's hand is inconsequential. And Xichen's going to take it 3-1. A bit unfortunate for Yikon there. This is the second time that he's actually qualified for this through 500 players. Maybe we should put him in the pro qualifier now that he's qualified twice. I think that's appropriate, right? In any case, very, very sad. Got pretty bad draws. Pretty much almost nothing he could have done in all of the games that he lost, honestly. Nothing really too horrible from his play, and just a